After your first episode, things might still feel foggy. You might not even be sure yet what was real and what's not, and that's okay. You don't need to have that figured out today. In this video, you will learn how to support yourself after your first episode. The scientific meaning of psychosis is still researched a lot. Modern experts lean towards an escalated state of making meaning, and this is what all of us humans do. We assign meaning to things. What did that mean when that person looked at me? Are they happy? Are they angry? Did I do something wrong? And modern experts are leaning to see the concept as psychosis as an escalated state of meaning making. For others, psychosis has been a very spiritual or have another meaning. And the point of this video is, regardless of what your beliefs are around this subject, we zoom into how to support yourself. Modern science shows, regardless of what your diagnosis has been, the factors causing it is something that could be influenced, meaning that recovery is possible. And the cause of psychosis is never one thing, it's always a combination of multiple factors causing this. One of the factors is being more sensitive towards psychosis. This is something anyone can be born with, being more sensitive to stress, overwhelm, having a more sensitive nervous system, being more sensitive to sensory input and stress. Another factor is stress and big life events. Think about a loss of a loved one, having a longer period of intense stress. Another factor is trauma, especially early childhood trauma and unprocessed experiences. Sleep can be an overlooked factor, but many people can already have psychotic experience from sleep deprivation, substance use, especially cannabis with a high THC level, social exclusion, and of course, other environmental and social economical factors play a huge role in this as well. Getting to know these factors is one of the best things you can do for yourself, because once you learn what the factors are that have cause this, you can start to address them slowly and gradually. And that's how we move to the second part of this video, practical tools you can use for yourself in this process, because it's very important you empower yourself with different kinds of tools. And again, you don't want to do this, rushing or anything like that. Like, it makes so much sense to want to recover fast, and at the same time, just like a broken leg needs time, with psychosis is usually a very intense experience, especially the first time. That's why you really, want to be patient with yourself and grant yourself the time you need to recover. I mean, my recovery, it took 7 years. And nowadays, of course, the healing modalities are evolving faster, which I believe, people can recover faster in that sense, although it's not, about time. But so the first thing you want to do is to gather tools and start to explore what are things that, make me feel better, make me feel less stressed in general. Maybe you like to go for a walk. Nature can be a very helpful thing. Swimming, maybe singing. Healing techniques can be helpful as well, like certain breathing techniques, journaling, having a steady routine, grounding techniques, and yeah, medication can be part of the process. And at the same time, I also want to emphasize that, in a long term, the medication can have effects, and that's something I recommend, talk about with your practitioner. So the second thing I would embark on is nervous system work. In this way, you will learn how to cultivate, being able to calm yourself and your nervous system. A healthy nervous system is one that's flexible. So it doesn't mean you're like calm all the time, but it does mean, you will learn to switch from being stressed or overwhelmed, because that's what psychosis essentially is to me, a severe state of overwhelm. And when you again, slowly and gradually learn how to support your nervous system and to take care of yourself. Yeah, that can really be the most important thing you can do for yourself. And you can do that through resting, learning how to actually rest, yoga if you feel like that's a calming thing for you, learning how to process your emotions. And the third thing I would recommend is maybe, work on your environment if that's applicable to you. Maybe you've been in a very stressful job or an unhealthy work environment. Maybe try and explore, maybe together with someone, what were things that were contributing in my environment to this situation. It can be helpful to figure out, maybe in your relationship, you felt so stressed over time or unheard, you've done a lot of things alone. That's important to figure out, not necessarily meaning, okay, then you have to leave or anything like that, but just to be aware of it and to just take it in as information. Look at this part of your journey as somewhat of an exploration phase of like, okay, been in this situation and it was really intense, and now coming out of this, ideally you want to get back to who you were, you know, really quickly. And that makes so much sense. And what I learned is that you can, find yourself back and so much more. You can learn so much about yourself. So you can find yourself back and even more in a more evolved way. Think of past you who didn't know how to maybe express emotions, and now this version of you will learn how to. It doesn't mean like the past you is like completely gone or something. It's usually after psychotic episode and personality loss. It's a very common thing. Don't be discouraged if it feels like that for a while, because I 100% believe it will change again for the better, for the positive, even though it might be really hard to, you know, even think of that right now. So back to the environment, maybe, in relationships, you maybe, need more from the people around you, or, the job is just not the right place for you. Maybe you need a better work-life balance. Maybe your living situation. Maybe you're figuring out, wow, actually, I need to be more into the countryside. You don't have to tackle all of this at once. But this is just about, gaining awareness of what could be, changed. And again, grant yourself the time and patience for that. A lot of people think of recovery as like a straight line of like, okay, I experienced psychosis and now I'm better again. And I always look at recovery like a puzzle. Sometimes people have a smaller puzzle to work on, and sometimes people have a bigger puzzle to work on. You keep gathering tools, maybe change your environment, learn how to regulate and process your emotions. It truly is possible to get through this, to rebuild your life, in what you want. If you need more guidance from it, I offer one-on-one sessions. Check out the link in my bio and my recovery guide, Psychosis Recovery 101, on Amazon. I hope this video was helpful, and see you in the next one.